So hopefully everybody heard all that. Say hi, wait.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, guys. Right, so our second live show. How exciting is this? Hello, Gary.
Hello.
AJ in the bottom and Steve as well. So, Steve, what are we covering today? What would you like to start with?
A little bit of a general update on what we've been doing this week with the reduced team. It's been sort of a bit hectic getting orders out the door, but that's still happening. It's sort of within our normal turnaround time. The books all arrived 2 days ago.
Yes, we heard a few boxes arrived. How many was it at the end?
There was 100 boxes of books arrived. So they're all stacked up. And we have started shipping. So quite a few people will have got their shipping notifications already. Some people might even have got them today. But they're all over the world.
Fantastic. So we look forward to seeing what people think about that. Say, Gary. What else have we been up to in the home office, so to speak?
Pardon?
In Steve, in the home office, have we been up to anything else?
No, it's just been a lot of order processing, really. You know, we've got just a small team in, so it's not much time to have some fun.
No. Yourself, AJ, what's your focus been on?
Mine's mainly been because, as you'll see when you get your book, there's a lot of new individual kits in it. Mine's tagging them so they stay in the sheet, optimization, and then we'll get it cut so I can test build it. Also, there'll be a lot of new ranges you'll see in there as well, which Gary could probably give you an update on roughly how many new kits came from this book.
Well, we'll come on to that as a question in a bit, eh, Gary?
Yeah.
How does it feel having your published book? Have you got one in your hands yet?
Oh, I've got 100 of them. I had them the day before Steve got his. I only got 5 boxes though.
Oh, yeah, not quite a big a delivery, eh? Well, we're going to go into the book in a moment. Shall we have a quick think about what new releases perhaps we've got coming? There was something I saw a render of floating around soon, but we'll come to. Steve?
First new thing, I've just switched this and shoot.
Warm Mediterranean type thing?
Mediterranean. No, the first thing I thought we could talk about was Stalingrad.
Ah, fantastic, yes.
So I will do this and then we can talk about it.
Okay, what's he doing? Oh,
hey,
that's Flash.
Yeah,
that's live as well.
This is this weekend's new release, which is the sort of modular break apart Stalingrad factory. The front section is independent of the rear. It's all fitted on terrain tiles. Each element can break away into locks, so you could expand it, break it up, use it as scatter, or have it as one big destroyed factory to fight it through.
That's fantastic. Are we looking at doing anything like bundles?
Yes, there will be. There'll be a couple of bundles. You'll be able to get elements of it on its own, and there will also be a couple of big bundles so you can fill a table with it.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, we've got something else coming up here. Looks like a little fly through. Fantastic. Is this one of yours, Gary? One of your specials?
Yeah. It helps explain, because each of the separate parts is a different color. You can see how you can rip it apart into separate sections and increase the size of its footprint on the table.
So it looks there like the footprints in the region of, on the back part at least, 400 mil long by 300.
500 by 300, I think, roughly.
5 by 3, yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Fantastic. So that's going to be quite a lot of real estate on the tabletop, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it scatters. If you break it apart, it will scatter up to be quite a lot as well. If you put some bits and pieces in amongst it, you could make it look like the sort of remnants of a much bigger factory as well.
Yeah. The front end there, diagonally. Gary.
Oh, yeah, no, the front end, that's because this is a render we did for the discussion about what it's going to look like. So the actual one, that's a split down the roof. so you can actually pull the roof off and get inside to fight inside the office area.
Really making it very, very usable like that. That's fantastic.
Well, the front of the factory module as well, the actual factory, the office block there, you can pull that off as well and get inside there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Steve arranging his camera for that?
He's on his way, isn't he, with the toys?
I'll see if I can get it to show it off.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I push this out the way, and then so this is the front section here. So this part comes off as well, so you can do different things with it. And he says as he puts it back on, yeah. So as I said, you could split the whole thing up and start to cover quite a lot of.
Fantastic. I think
quite a lot. So yeah,
a couple of those would do me nicely for a Stalingrad board.
Yeah, a lot.
Yes. Right. So when that's going to be this weekend, yes?
Yeah.
It is, yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's our big new release there. Last week we also had the Mediterranean, and I believe we've got another painting guide coming for that.
We do.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Gary did one. Yeah.
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 So I'll be getting that this weekend as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So following on from that, Stalingrad, what do you see the sort of future direction? Are we going to add a bit more to that, do you think, Gary or Steve? Yeah, a bit more.
Well, the thing is, it actually works quite well with the existing factories as well, because we've got a destroyed version of that. We've got all the modular little box modules that make up stuff, because the Stalingrad tractor factory was a massive plant and had all these little bits and pieces around to support it. So it works with it. And who's to say whether there's other bits and pieces that will enable it to work?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And obviously there's existing kits in the range. We've got some ruined European city townhouses and things, which have been out for some time. They are sort of mini versions of that, in that they're made up of 6 little sections, so you can use 2 of them to form a facade or a gable end, split them up just to form ruins, and those are lots of little modular bits as well. So it all follows the theme of trying to make things as flexible and give you as much as you can from our kit, so you can build one ruined house or use it as a table's worth of scatter.
Fantastic. That modular terrain, the terrain tile systems are a great idea just to expand on and just keep adapting your battlefields as you need them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on because we're going to be pushed for time tonight. We mentioned the book already. Fantastic. Already looking through that page by page, and some details in there. So Gary, what was
Definitely. Just in case you haven't seen the back.
Oh, and the back, yes. I've got that for you.
Exactly.
What I have seen in the back are those 14 odd pages of wallpaper.
Yes. Yeah, the whole book is about showing more than just one way of doing things. It can be quite, habit forming, that when you get your kit, you do it one way, you keep doing one way. And so the whole book's been about doing it differently. And the wallpapers, as you like to call them, at the back, which is quite right. There's wallpaper, there's brick patterns. It's just another way of doing it. And to link that to the Greek paint guide that's coming out, it's not really a paint guide. It's more a paper guide of how to actually create much more than just a painted, textured farmhouse or piece of kit. So the book goes through all the different ways that we've used over the years, from simple paintwork using emulsion right the way through to wallpapers, spray paint, and different brick techniques. Even relates to what you've been doing with these bases of late, Rich, where you've used filler and in all the gaps and dry brushing over. So it shows all the different ways, and it's about people being confident enough to just try something new and keep trying new, And there's bits in there about making your own decals using decal paper, but using those to make posters or graffiti. And so there's an immense number of different things that we had to go through. Steve and I had ages talking about it, ages coming up with the different thoughts, right? And as AJ says, the book is actually full of new kits, new ranges. I think lovely music.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It's got about 50 to 60 new kits broken down into 2 or 3 ranges. There's additions to new stuff that we've been doing anyway.
So you've squeezed some new stuff in there.
Oh gosh, yeah, there's.
I think is there only one existing kit in the book?
Yeah, it's the first kit is the basic build using emulsion and just quick painting and dry brushing to get confident in the fact that you won't wreck it. You can put anything on this stuff and you just it's bulletproof. And that's the only existing kit in there. From then on, it takes you through some really simple new ones, building up to well, actually you can see it over my left shoulder, a very large cityscape.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
So that's at the back, and that's about saying, well, you build to this. You can't just jump in.
Yeah, and you can come back to it. You can start off at stage 1, do it to that level, and then use it on your table, and then go back to it and add a bit to it. And so it can be a bit of an evolution. You don't need to spend all the time putting the detail in at the start. You can just do a simple paint job, get some use out of it, and then just come back and have a go, add a bit to it, do a bit more.
It's quite like the block painting style when you're painting armies, when you just want to get the entire army up to a standard, and then enable you to get your terrain up to a standard, and then come back to the next chapter. Is that how do you lay the chapters out there, Gary?
Yeah, it does it. Well, we take it from materials. We give people an insight into actually what MDF is, because there's been a lot of myth busting to be done on what actually MDF is. And then we take it through from painting with water, spray cans. There's a little bit, I think Steve mentioned it in last week's one, about what color is and what soaking in is or isn't. And then we take it through all just simple ways of achieving it, and how you can add a bit of your life or what you want. You can either take it as a basic, I'm going to use these techniques, and then overlay and overlay and overlay. It's all about confidence, Rich.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that, especially when I start doing these videos. It's
yeah. When doing the bigger shows, and Steve and I are there, the number of people coming up saying, I bought 20, 30 kits. How do you paint it? And when you just pull that magic curtain aside, Wizard of Oz style, show it actually just smoke and mirrors a lot of people use. My background is as a designer. My training is in arts. So I'm grabbing bits from all different skills and genres and things like that to create this. So you can say the wallpapers, well, that's Doll's House. But it just adds life. There's it's the one actually that keeps coming up on the feeds. It's the ruined house with wallpaper, but it's been ripped on it and things. Because that's the reality of a building falling apart. And there's a whole section on that. There's a section where we use a brand new kit, but I paint it in 2 different ways, completely different ways. And the guy that commented on it, because we sent this out to people to look at it and comment, was blown away that it's the same kit, painted just 2 different ways, very simply. One actually is more transfers than it is paint, and they can sit side by side. It's just, that's like a bridge in the book. It basically says, now you've got to this point, branch out, use what you've learned or what you want to learn or what you can find.
Yeah.
I'm forever going into art shops. I never go into model shops often anymore, buy stuff that's on the model rack. I'll go into the model railway section or just nip into the kids section.
Yeah,
watercolor paint.
Yeah, I'm doing the same at the local DIY store before this happened. You know, it doesn't take much, but getting tester pots for the kitchen colours. Oh, I'll grab an extra one. That will do.
Tester pots are beautiful because they're matte and you can actually work into them.
Yeah, and
if
being a lot of these, you can mix them in. Nearly everybody's got some kind of acrylic paint for their hobby somehow, and you can get the artist paints in much bigger volumes. You can get the tester pots, things like that, and it's so easy to go straight on that MDF without any issues at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the detail jumps back out as it dries. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to run into some questions now, Gary.
Yeah, sure.
We're all ready. So we've got some questions starting to roll in. Let's start looking at those. So the first question here is, what's been the best current situation seller?
Can we all guess?
No.
Can we all guess?
Oh, let me guess.
Guess. I'm going with.
We laughed about this today because you can tell that everyone's playing post-apocalyptic games.
Really?
Supermarkets, shops, things like that. Yeah, anything that you can have some zombies or hordes running about, it seems to be.
Fantastic. And again, we always get that question for you, Gary. Can you really paint straight on MDF?
Absolutely. If we had time, I've got tubes of paint right behind me. Just squeeze it straight on the MDF.
We can do that another time. We'll do that another time.
We'll have to do that. We'll do that again. Yeah.
Coming soon.
AJ, how long does it take to cut a kit like this Stalingrad factory?
I'd say around 50 minutes, probably.
50.
It all depends on the detail of the kit as well. Obviously, different etch work will add more time to it. More cutting, obviously, it will take it longer. So a big kit like Stalingrad is going to take around 40 to 50 minutes generally. It can vary.
Yeah. Okay. And on that sort of theme, any progress? Well, what's the progress so far, Steve, on the Alamo?
It's all ready to go. Everything's done on it. We just need to start cutting them. The fact that we've sort of down-manned at the moment, as I said last week, has sort of affected when we planned to do it. But we had a chat about it today, and we're probably going to start cutting some next week and just tick them over. What I'd wanted to do was get them all done in a big batch and send everyone's out at the same time. But rather than do that and then take a longer time to process them all, we'll probably just do them in some batches and just send them out as they're done, which means some people could be getting them in as little as maybe 2 weeks. We'll start sending some out. I think that at the moment, the way things are, that seems like the better thing to do, is at least some people get them now. And then if we do that, I don't think we'll be late unless something drastically changes. I think we'll still fit within the timeline we set. So
is that if we literally get near the wood? Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary, have we got any idea of any India kits?
I'll tell you what, we have a list of 500 and something kits in our bank. There are certain ranges that broach it, move towards it, and this whole thing's been a bit like a world tour. So we are getting to these places and these destinations, including Australia, somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic.
There are. I have a PC with a research file in it where I grab images and stuff and make notes all the time, and India is in there.
Fantastic. Well, I think it's probably time to start wrapping up now, guys. We've got some fantastic releases just come out with the Mediterranean town, and we've got Stalingrad this weekend, I believe. Okay. If we can leave with one final question before we say goodbye, it would be, how much supervision does Steve need? I mean, does a kit need?
Steve needs a lot of supervision.
AJ.
Yeah. They need a lot of supervision. You've got a high-powered laser firing at something flammable, and although we haven't had a fire, touch wood, we wouldn't take the risk. So you need to be watching machines all the time. It's not a fire and forget. You have to keep an eye on them. You know, funnily enough, acrylic is the thing that tends to want to flare when it burns more than MDF. But that being said, you know, we clean the machines down every single day because obviously dirt wraps things is the thing that can cause problems. So we clean them every day, and the housekeeping is paramount. It doesn't matter how busy we are; we always clean stuff, and then just keep an eye on them, you know. And that, yeah. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much, guys. We've get your thinking caps on. We'll have some more questions, I hope, prepared for next time, which is next Thursday, the 9th, at roughly the same time. So, thank you very much, Dick.
Okay, stay safe, everyone.
Bye.
And goodbye from me, guys. Thank you for seeing us, and we'll talk to you next soon.